Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV Currents. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. First are the major headlines. I'm particularly pained. Tinubu condemns violence in 2023 polls. Protesters storm National Assembly, calls for annulment of presidential election. Cross Rivers requires over 20,000 workforce for productivity, NLC. Ogun, former PAMSEC wife killed in Lagos. Hoodlums set ablaze High Court 24 hours after INEC declared results. Finally, on sports, NFL announces gate fee for Super Eagles clash versus Guinea. Now the news in detail. President-elect Bola Tinubu has condemned the violence reported in the 2023 general elections in Nigeria and is calling for healing and reconciliation in the country. Tinubu said this in a statement released on Tuesday and urged Nigerians to rise above their differences and work together for the betterment of the country. The former Lagos State governor said, "I'm saddened by the reported isolated infractions during the elections and its aftermath in some states. I strongly condemn it. Also, the report of arson after the announcement of governorship results in one state did not represent who we truly are, peace-loving people. The physical and verbal assaults committed are unacceptable and antithetical to democratic rules and ethos. Elections should be a celebration of our maturing democracy and freedom of choice and ought not to be moments of grief. I'm particularly pained by the cases of ethnic slurs which are capable of creating needless mischaracterization reported in some locations." And to the next story. Some protesters have stormed the National Assembly in Abuja over the just concluded presidential election in Nigeria. The protesters carry placards with the inscriptions such as "Save Our Democracy," INEC plus corruption, politicians are killing our democracy, and INEC killing the Nigeria democracy. Information report that some of the women were crying and laying curses. This is coming less than 24 hours after a protest erupted at the Unity Fountain on Tuesday in Abuja. And to the next story from Cross River State. The chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC in Cross River State, Comrade Gregory Olayi, has revealed that the state requires at least 20,000 persons in its workforce to remain efficient and productive in delivering quality service to the people. Comrade Olayi made the revelation on Wednesday while briefing journalists at the NUT Secretariat in Calabar. The NLC chairman said since the creation of Akwa Ibom State till now, which is now 36 years, a lot of civil servants are retiring based on service years, and these started depleting the workforce in 2022. Going on to the next story. Former Permanent Secretary Ogun State Adefemi Egbelua and his wife Oluwafunmilayo have reportedly been killed by gunmen who broke into their home on Saturday at number 1 Adefolu Drive, Allen Avenue area of Lagos State. The couple were reportedly killed early hours of Saturday. Confirming the incident, the state police spokesperson Benjamin Udeyin stated that no suspect had been arrested in connection with the incident, although the investigation is ongoing at the time of filing this report. Policemen have visited the scene. Investigation is ongoing. The househelp was found unconscious, but she is responding to treatment now in the hospital. The case has been transferred to the homicide section of the State Criminal Investigation Department, Manti Yaba, SCID. No suspect yet arrested. From Lagos, we go to the next story. Suspected political thugs have set ablaze a state high court in Owutu-Eda community in Ebonyi State. The development came barely 24 hours after the conclusion of the governorship and House of Assembly elections in the state. The registrar of the court, Mrs. Oluchi Uduma, who spoke to newsmen, said that the hoodlums invaded the court in the early hours of Tuesday, chanting war songs and set ablaze the building. She noted that the hoodlums had earlier, some time ago, attempted to burn down the state high court, but were prevented by security agencies. Uduma further noted that the court building and other valuable properties, as well as the documents, were totally burned. She further revealed that the youths of Oguta Eda community alongside security operatives were mobilized but were unable to apprehend any of them. Information report that the setting ablaze of the State High Court at Oguta Eda community in Afikpo South LGA was allegedly perpetrated by youths who are seriously aggrieved on the conduct of governorship and House of Assembly election that took place at the area. And to the next story. A 33-year-old woman, Ifeoma Osai, who was arrested and detained after allegedly killing her landlord Monday, Oladele, by squeezing and dragging his manhood during a fight, has denied the accusation. Osai, a mother of two, was accused of assaulting Oladele and his wife during a disagreement at their residence in the Songota area of Ogun State. However, Osai has come forward to refute the allegations against her, stating that she did not touch or drag the landlord's. In an interview with Platform Time, she claimed that Oladele's relatives cooked up the story to implicate her. Osai explained that the fight with her landlord was sparked by a disagreement over her decision to not to pay her rent for some months due to lack of access to basic amenities. She claimed that Oladele had promised her access to borehole water before she moved in, but failed to fulfill his promise. Osai also alleged that she was cheated on prepaid electricity charges and that some of the money was being used to pay off the household's accumulated debts. To the next story on the world news today. President Vladimir Putin said Monday that deepening ties between Russia and Africa was a key goal for the Kremlin as Moscow seeks to expand its influence on the continent. He added that Russia would continue supplying the continent with grain if Moscow exits a landmark agreement with Ukraine to allow export from the country's Black Sea ports. Let me emphasize that our country has always given and will continue to give priority to cooperation with African states, Putin said in a televised address at a conference on Russian-African relations. Putin's comments come as Moscow is seeking deeper political, economic, and military ties in Africa and Asia as Russia becomes increasingly isolated on the international stage over the conflict in Ukraine. To end the world news this hour is sports news. Fans wishing to watch the Super Eagles live against the Jetrus of Guinea-Bissau at the Moshood Abiola International Stadium, Abuja, on Friday will have to pay between 2,000 Naira and 10,000 Naira. The price is for ordinary and VIP seats respectively. Interested fans can purchase a ticket at the Secretariat of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, and NFF's former office at Wuse 7, Abuja. Tickets will also be available at designated places, with details will be announced on broadcast stations nationwide. The game will kick off at 5 p.m. Nigerian time on Friday. The Super Eagles top Group A of the qualifiers with 6 points from 2 games. Guinea-Bissau are in second position with 4 points from the same number of matches. That ends the world news from BGI TV Current. Before we go, some major headlines. We brought to you, I'm particularly pained. Tinubu condemns violence in 2023 polls. Protesters storm National Assembly, calls for annulment of presidential election. Cross River requires over 20,000 workforce for productivity, NLC says. Lastly, NFF announces gate fees for Super Eagles Guinea-Bissau clash. For more updates on our YouTube channel, the handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placement only. Thank you for watching. I am Maurire Rebila Lawal. Good evening.
If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.